everyone? This is Autumn from the Roasted Keto Face blog, and I'm here to talk to you today about the 4 things you need to do to get started on the keto diet. Any diet plan that somebody starts, they're gonna make mistakes. We all make mistakes, so first of all, let's just accept that and we're gonna move on from it. You make mistakes, you learn from them, you're better for it. But these are 4 things that you need to have worked out before you start keto or any other diet. That way you can work through these mistakes and you can be successful long term, because the battle for most people is the way that they perceive how they're doing on a diet or with a goal. And if you have the mental processes in order to make sure that you set yourself up for success, then you will be successful. A lot of people start keto and they don't have these things in order, and I'm telling you now, it really isn't keto diet specific, but any sort of diet plan that you do, if you do not do these things, you will not be successful. I wanted to pass this information along to you so that you don't run into the mistakes that I did, so you can finish whatever you're trying to do quickly and then move on with the rest of your life. Number 1, you need to make sure that you do your research. This does not mean you need to know everything about the diet. Your research means that you need to know enough to get started. So you need to first understand what you can and cannot eat, or should not eat on the diet, how often you should be doing it. Like if you're trying to intermittent fast, you should understand what a fasting window and what an eating window is. You should understand what electrolytes are and how often you need to have them and what different levels of electrolytes you need to incorporate throughout your day. For keto, you need to make sure that you have sodium, magnesium, and potassium levels monitored at all times. This doesn't mean that you need to buy a monitor. That just means that you need to make sure in the foods that you eat and in the supplements that you take, you are meeting a level to make sure that your body is operating the best that it can. A shortage of electrolytes will result in keto flu. Along with your research, you need to make sure that you have foods that you should or should not eat. You want to make sure you have a plan ahead of time. That way you can start planning your meals and make sure that you're eating the right things so that you'll feel better faster. Number 2 is that you want to make sure you have your electrolytes worked out. If you do not do this step, you will get the keto flu. Is it the real flu? No. The keto flu is what happens when you don't have enough sodium, magnesium, and potassium. And I'm going to include water on the keto diet. It feels like muscle aches and cramps and confusion, dizziness, low blood pressure. There are a lot of different symptoms that are a sign of the keto flu, and you want to make sure that you can avoid it as best as possible. I can definitely give you a longer description of the keto flu, but I don't want to waste time on this video on that. But if you want to see more, drop a comment below, let me know, I'll give a full explanation. Third, you want to make sure that you have a support system. Having a keto buddy is like the best thing. What I observe from other people doing the diet is that either your spouse or your kids are not involved with you, and that makes it really hard, or you live alone and you can't go through some of the foods like baked goods fast enough before they go bad, which could result in a really expensive grocery budget. Recipes are easier to try whenever you have a keto buddy. New products are easier to try because you can go halvesies on them if you want. My friend Sarah and I do keto together. We split the prices of products a lot. Like if we do a big order of new skinny syrups and we want to try different flavors, we'll do that. Or if we want to try things like Smart Baking Company, whenever we first started buying their cakes, we would split the sampler pack just to see how they were, like the buns and everything. That way before you buy them, you're not buying a mass quantity of things. You can just sample it, and then if you want to buy more for yourself, you can do that later. Having a keto buddy means that you also have somebody to help hold you accountable. If you have a hard time with self-motivation, or if you just have a tendency to want to cheat, I don't think cheat's a bad word, I think it just describes going off plan. If that word bothers you, then let me just say, if you have a tendency to want to go off plan, you can check with your keto buddy and be reminded of some of the things that really motivated you to get started and will help you to continue what you're doing. If you don't have somebody in person that will be your keto buddy, you can also look on Instagram and on Reddit. I use the subreddit XX-Keto, which is the female keto subreddit, because I think that the people there are really supportive and understanding and informational. A lot of the initial information I learned for the keto diet came from that subreddit and from the main keto subreddit, but I think the main one has just a lot of users and it's easy to get to drown in the material from there. You can also find people on other social media platforms like Instagram through hashtags, and you can also find them through Facebook groups, through TikTok. There are zillions of ways for you to find a keto buddy. Having a support system through the hardest part of keto, which was weight loss, made it easier for me to do this on my own whenever I started the maintenance phase. So now it doesn't really bother me having carbs in the house. I don't feel tempted to eat those things. I just want to eat my foods because I love those foods. So I don't need to branch out into those other things. So having a strong support system in the beginning, whenever it's really hard to build habits and muscle memory to reach for the right foods, means that you are teaching yourself. That means that you are learning to be self-sufficient, and that will benefit you in the long run. My fourth tip for ultimate keto long-term success is not to be so hard on yourself, because I know it's really easy to get stuck in this mental cycle, a complex of just self-hatred, especially whenever you feel like you're failing. And let me tell you, you're not failing, because all of the goals that you have put up for yourself are made by you. You are letting nobody down but yourself. And the reason that you feel like you're letting yourself down is because you more than likely had unrealistic goals for yourself. The best way to implement something like this is to just start small, and those little changes will build and build and build until you have made big progress. So whenever you accidentally eat some carbs, don't be so hard on yourself. Or whenever you have a chicken that has sauce on it, don't be so hard on yourself. The point is, even when you eat something on purpose that is not necessarily in your plan, don't be so hard on yourself. The way that you talk to yourself about these things, like making mistakes, forms these mental patterns so that next time whenever you accidentally eat something that you weren't supposed to, or you go off plan, you're more than likely going to jump back into this cycle, and we don't want to allow those mental pathways to form. So whenever you have something that is off plan, don't be so hard on yourself. Tomorrow is a new day. It was one meal. And if you're worried that one accidental meal is going to totally fuck up your progress, it didn't take one meal to get to where you are now. And that's what really helped me the most. You don't have to apologize to anyone. You don't even have to apologize to yourself. Just own that shit. You ate the cake. Was it good? Probably. Say, okay, you've had that cake now. You don't have to have it again. So go back to the things that you like to eat, which for me was keto. This fourth one is one that I'm really passionate about, because I see a lot of people get stuck in those mental pathways where they start beating themselves up. And it goes from, I ate this thing, to I feel like crap because I ate this thing, to I'm worthless, to so on and so forth. So next time you eat this thing that you didn't mean to, and your brain is so used to going down that pathway, what I want you to do is just stop, take a second, and assess whether the food was good or not. If it was good, then it was good. And if it was bad, then I guess it wasn't worth it and you won't want it next time. After you do that, I want you to just be okay with it. Just say, all right, I did that. I'm gonna own it, and then move on. Remember that tomorrow is a new day. You don't have to do an egg fast after you have a cheat. You don't have to do an extended fast. You don't have to do a military diet. You can just move forward. We're experiencing some pretty crappy tornado weather today, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. But I appreciate you watching this video, and if you have any other tips that you want to drop down in the comments below, let me know. Also, in the comments, I'm gonna have links to my other social media channels. Be sure to follow me there, and also make sure to turn on that notification bell. That way, YouTube will tell you anytime I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.